Here we are at D.A.R.T training. That's Bill Dragoo up there in the front.
That shit is slippery already.
Yeah.
So, the 4 cornerstones of adventure riding, according to D.A.R.T: balance, control, judgment, and attitude. Control for us is using the controls to maintain our balance. So the ability to work within that friction zone is dead critical. You need, as Ben said, don't depower completely. If you're going through, say, this mud hole over here that goes back over towards the barn, and you realize that you're spinning too much, and you suddenly pull your clutch in all the way, now you've stopped rolling completely. You're really in trouble. Whatever resistance made you spin to begin with, you've just increased it exponentially because you have a static motorcycle instead of one that's moving and barging through the mud. So always try to depower very, very lightly as you're doing that. Try not to just back off the power completely unless you need it to do that. And that's up to you to make that decision. But don't do it as a matter of habit. Yeah, the person who drove the bus into the ditch, you're still in charge. It's your bus. So you be the one to communicate how to get it out of there. The exception to that is if there's someone else who has clearly more experience, more knowledge, and is more capable of taking control of that situation.
Nice.
One,
You got it by yourself?
2, 3. Yeah.
I'm gonna first try to do it by myself. Nice.
Hard that maybe you hadn't considered for bike pickup.
It's easier with help.
Easier with help? No doubt. No doubt. And especially if you coordinate that help, isn't it? It's all the difference in the world. So, okay, so other observations on bike pickup.
Watch the accessories.
What's the accessories? Tell me about that.
Crack my windshield.
Crack
Oh,
your-
no.
Roll forward up here. Clutch only. Alright, now just ease your clutch in. Let it, just start easing it back just with your clutch. Just let it roll back about a bike length. Use your clutch and your throttle to stop it.
Okay, I would like to hear some observations about that exercise.
Coming out of the friction zone before you get the full throttle, if you can work it, you can control a lot of your spin out.
Slip the clutch, not your back tire. Ultimately, we're trying to preserve traction. What else?
I've always used the back brake to hold myself on the heel.
Yeah.
A whole lot easier with the clutch.
It is, maybe not as sloppy as it is
Well,
today, but no,
Yeah.
it is. Because sometimes
You need both.
your right leg might need to be down. It might be the long step of death on the left.
And one other thing that I do want to add is that I talked to a few of you about momentum, about getting that rhythm going, that pendulum effect. When you were right here, you were essentially stuck on the hill. So you let the clutch out, the bike is just spinning and not moving, but you can pull the clutch in, you can let it roll back a little bit, and there's a realm where you can roll, then use that to get that momentum and then continue on over the hill. That's that commitment thing, but you've got to get it moving. Don't just add power and spin more. So this is the slow legs, and this is really going to emphasize the relationship between your clutch and between your throttle and between your brakes. So that triad, clutch, throttle, and brakes, is extremely important. Hook, grip, go. Jeez.
Thanks, man.
It's a key principle, isn't it? Bike intention. So the clutch throttle is pulling against the rear brake, or it could be the front brake under certain circumstances. But bike intention is very helpful. It's just like this right here. We can lean that clutch throttle against the brake, and we have this ability to move in and out. I couldn't lean this far. He couldn't lean that far. You know, cross your legs. See, we're not stable by ourselves like that. Okay, we'll come back together. But we are if we rely on one another. That clutch throttle against the brake, that is the reliance that we're looking for. Could you feel that a little bit?
Yeah.
Press. His left foot will press. He initiates what kind of steering? Enduro steering. Press your foot in the direction that you're going to go. Now his body moves to the outside. Notice his elbows are up. He's got 1 or 2 fingers on the clutch and the brake. His eyes are into the turn. Notice his chest, his shoulders, his bars are parallel. His belly button pointed in the direction that he's going to turn the other way. He turns his head and eyes first, and then the guy's going to lean in the other direction as he turns the bars.
Thank you.
Good. You know how many motorcycles you need? Oh, one more. You came in pretty hot.
Yeah, I did.
All right. And I mean, you rode it out, so that was good. Did you go for the front brake at all?
I did.
Yeah, you made me nervous because it looked like you were reaching up there to snatch it.
Yeah.
So nice and controlled, okay? All right. Much better. So feel the control that way, right? Come around here and you square up on it. You're looking all the way through it. Eyes up, we're going to scan out. Then come down, we're going to scan down. But don't just come up here and go, okay, I'm going to get to the first one. And then I'm down here, and I'm not ready for the next one. Just down, so body position, a big part of going up a hill. So I'm approaching this thing, I got my power set. I'm working the gray zone. I'm not clutch all the way out, and I'm not clutch all the way in. I'm going to go up, my body position is going to come forward over the bars. Now I'm in a transition zone. The bike's going to brake over to the top. The clutch is going to come in, and just like we did in braking, my weight's going to go back.
Whoop-de-doos. I got a low clearance, so my skid plate tends to skid on the top of these. Jake, keep it straight. That sucks.
Remember, we're simulating a hill fail recovery. You're not successfully climbing, you're going to stop the motorcycle deliberately. Don't wait to see what happens. You be the master of your machine. Make it stop when and where you want it to stop. Now, when you do that, you're going to do it by clutch kill. So drop the clutch entirely. Just going to clutch kill it, let the bike anchor itself on the hill. So the first and most important rule of a hill fail recovery is clutch out. Kill that motor with the clutch. That doesn't mean add the throttle because you'll continue to go. So drop the throttle, drop the clutch, that motorcycle will stall on the side of the hill. Now you're safe, as you'll see demonstrated by Ben. What do we do as in any recovery situation? Who do we call? AAA, which means to what? First, assess. Second, accept. And the third, act. We're looking for path of travel, which direction we're going to go backwards or straight back. We can go straight back if we want to. So we're assessing that situation. We're formulating our plan of how we're going to get down that hill, aren't we? All right? We accept it. It's up to us. Nobody's coming. Bubba's not here. We're going to have to get ourselves out of this situation. We want to do it with the least energy possible. And then we act. We put that plan into action. We make it all happen. Okay? Clutch kill right there. You can bring the clutch in until it stops and then let the clutch out. The motor will die. Now, he's going to assess. So what are you going to do? Which way are you going to go?
You know, over here I've got a nice area that I can back around. Over here is a pit full of piranhas, laser eels, and Chuck Norris, and I don't want to go that way.
I don't blame you. Laser eels, man. That's
laser eel, it's
Chuck Norris is no problem. Nothing. Okay.
Okay, so
so he's going to turn his wheel to the right since he does not want the back end to go this direction. And then he'll use his clutch, which your clutch now becomes your what? Brake. So gently ease that clutch in. Don't start winging that clutch back and forth like that. The bike is out of control. And keep that handlebar turned all the way. Lean the bike into the hill a little bit more than you need to. Predispose it slightly so it doesn't try to right itself, because it will try to right itself.
I always say if you haven't learned friction zone yet, by this point of the class, you will. If I'm violent on this, the suspension starts to act. If I let it roll fast and then I really drop that clutch, there's a righting tendency. It's trying to bounce me downhill. So early on, I could touch on this low side.
If you try to touch now, he's going to topple over.
I call that the long step of death.
Yeah. At some point, you've gone back as far as you can go or as far as you want to go. Stop there, and then you can begin to scissor that front wheel back and forth. At some point, you will have gotten the front wheel walked down far enough that you can ride away. Once you like your trajectory, then you can ride away. So hold your front brake now, because this is now your downhill brake. Start the motor and leave with authority. When you ride away, you're going to push off like you're on a skateboard, but don't spin that rear tire, because that's where you can lose the back end and you can see which way it's going to go. Notice he never spun, he simply rode away.